Today's story ends with an accidental company-wide HR data breach.
Okay, wait. I swear I genuinely thought I was being helpful, honestly.
I had to walk across the entire office floor, and I wanted to die.
Inspired by the kind of story you'd find on Reddit. Today we have a tale of one very confident email, one very unfortunate reply, all, and one woman who genuinely considered moving to another country to avoid her colleagues.
I will say up front, this one is my fault. Like completely 100%, no question, my fault. I own it.
It is absolutely his fault, and I am still not over it, not even a little bit.
Let us set the scene. A medium-sized marketing office, open plan, you know the type, rows of desks, absolutely nowhere to hide, and the kind of awkward silence that descends when the printer jams. Sophie has worked there for 3 years. Jake joined 6 months ago as a project coordinator. And on this particular Tuesday morning, Jake was doing what Jake does best.
Okay, so look, I was trying to be helpful. That's important context. I'm the kind of person who, sees a problem and just wants to fix it immediately, you know? No overthinking, just action.
He sees a problem and creates 3 new ones. That's what he does.
The problem in question was this. Sophie's manager, let's call him the head of department, had sent an email to Jake by mistake. It was a confidential HR document containing the salary details for every person on the team. Jake, bless him, noticed the mistake immediately.
Right, and so I thought, okay, this is sensitive. I should forward this back to Sophie so she can sort it out because she's been here longer and she knows the manager better. Dead simple. Completely reasonable.
Except he didn't forward it to me.
I did not forward it to just you. No, and this is where it gets a bit complicated, I hit reply all.
He hit reply all on a company-wide email thread, with the salary document attached, and his message said, and I will never forget this, it said, "Hey everyone, thought you should all see this, looks important," with a little smiley face.
Now, for our learners who might not know, a reply all is when you respond to an email, and your reply goes to every single person who received the original message. Not just one person, everyone. In this case, that was 43 colleagues, the HR department, and the company's regional director, who was apparently just visiting that week and had been CC'd on everything as a courtesy.
I did not know about the regional director. That detail came out later, and honestly it made everything worse.
So within about 90 seconds I get this email right, and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, why is Jake sending me a spreadsheet? And then I open it and I just go completely cold. Like proper cold. My face went white. My colleague next to me actually asked if I was going to be sick.
Sophie, take us back to that moment. What was going through your mind?
Pure dread, that's the only word for it. Because here's the thing, when something deeply awkward happens in an office, the instinct is to smooth things over, right? To make light of it, act casual, pretend now it happened. But you cannot smooth over the fact that 43 people now know that Dave from accounts earns £15,000 more than everyone else on his level.
Okay, but wait, in fairness, I didn't know what was in the document when I forwarded it. I saw HR confidential and thought that meant like a health and safety memo or something. I didn't read it first.
That is genuinely worse, Jake.
It is rather. Now, within minutes of the email landing in everyone's inbox, the office began to change. And this is where the social dynamics of a workplace become genuinely fascinating. You see, salary information is one of the great unspoken taboos of office life. People have a rough idea what others earn, but nobody confirms it. Nobody says it out loud. It exists in a kind of polite social fog.
Yeah, and I basically just dissolved the fog with one click.
The vibe in the office shifted so fast. Like 1 minute everyone's doing their normal thing, and then suddenly there's all this, I don't even know how to describe it, like charged silence. People glancing at each other. Someone whispered something to their neighbor, and the neighbor just slowly turned to look at Dave from accounts.
And Sophie, you were sitting right in the middle of this, yes.
Dead center. My desk is literally in the middle of the open plan floor. There is nowhere to look that isn't someone's face doing a reaction. And because Jake sent it with my name in the thread, his message said, "Hey Sophie," also sending to the team. Everyone assumed it was my idea.
I was trying to be transparent. Like I thought transparency was a good thing in workplaces. I've read so many LinkedIn posts about radical transparency.
Transparency, right, okay. So transparency means being open and honest, not hiding things. It's actually dead important in good workplaces. But there's a difference between being transparent and accidentally broadcasting everyone's private pay to the entire company, Jake.
The line between those two things is apparently thinner than I thought.
The fallout was immediate. Sophie's manager, the one who'd sent the document to Jake by mistake in the first place, came striding across the office floor. And here is where Sophie demonstrated what I can only describe as extraordinary composure under social pressure.
I panicked. That's not composure, that's panic. He comes over and he's got this look on his face, you know that look someone gets when they're trying to stay calm but their eye is doing a little twitch, that look. And he says very quietly, "Sophie, my office, now." And the whole floor heard it because the office had gone completely silent.
I tried to wave at her like, "I'll explain it was me." But she didn't see me. She was already walking away, head down, moving at a real pace.
I was not making eye contact with a single soul. That walk felt about 40 miles long.
Now, while Sophie was having what she has described to us as the worst conversation of her professional life, Jake was left sitting at his desk, surrounded by colleagues who are now openly discussing the salary document. And Jake, being Jake, decided to do something about it.
Okay, so I thought, right, the best thing to do here is to take initiative. Like stand up, address the elephant in the room, be upfront about what happened. So I stood up, at my desk, in the open plan office. And I said loudly, "Hey everyone, that email was a mistake. It was me, not Sophie, and I think we should all just agree to, like, not make this a big deal."
He made a speech. He made a speech about it.
It wasn't a speech, it was more of a statement. A brief, well-intentioned statement.
How was it received?
Not great. Like, there was a silence and then someone, I don't know who, someone just said, "Bit late for that, mate." And everyone kind of went back to their screens.
Meanwhile, I'm in my manager's office trying to explain that I had naught to do with it, while also not throwing Jake completely under the bus, because honestly I felt a bit sorry for him. He genuinely didn't mean it. You can tell when someone is malicious and when someone is just catastrophically enthusiastic.
Catastrophically enthusiastic is generous, Sophie, but I'll allow it. Now, and this is the part that our listeners will either find deeply satisfying or deeply stressful, the conversation with the manager took an unexpected turn.
So he's doing the whole stern manager thing, right? And I'm sitting there being very apologetic and trying to explain the situation, and then his phone rings, and it's HR, and I can only hear his side of the conversation, but it becomes clear very quickly that HR is not angry about the leak. They are angry about what the document revealed. Because apparently several people had already emailed HR directly within like 10 minutes of receiving it, to formally raise a pay discrepancy complaint.
CC, radical transparency.
Do not do that.
Now for our learners, a pay discrepancy is when two people doing similar jobs are being paid noticeably different amounts, with no clear reason why. It's a sensitive issue, and in this particular office, it turned out there were several. So Jake's accidental reply all had inadvertently started what one colleague later described as the most productive HR week in company history.
I choose to view that as a net positive outcome.
3 people got salary increases. Our manager had to go to a mandatory training day. And I, who did absolutely nout, had to sit through an extremely awkward all-hands meeting where the head of department made a speech about appropriate information sharing etiquette, while I could feel 38 pairs of eyes drifting to me.
And Jake, what happened to Jake?
I got a verbal warning, which honestly felt very fair. And I also got, this is weirdly wholesome, I got 3 separate colleagues come to thank me quietly, like very quietly in the kitchen, individually, like I was running some kind of underground operation.
People kept coming up to me too, but they were coming up to give me sympathetic looks and pats on the arm, which is lovely but also deeply mortifying. There's a word for that kind of social interaction, when someone approaches you because they feel sorry for you, and you can both feel the awkwardness but you both pretend it's fine. I think the word is small talk.
A small talk. Yes, that's a brilliant word for our learners. Small talk is casual, light conversation about nothing in particular, the weather, the weekend, how you're doing, usually used to fill silence or ease awkwardness in social situations. And Sophie, would you say the small talk that week was particularly heavy?
The small talk was doing a lot of work, yeah. Everyone was being so careful. Nobody mentioned the actual thing, but everyone was being, like, aggressively pleasant, which is its own kind of uncomfortable, if I'm honest.
I tried to break the ice a few times. Like, I'd be in the kitchen and I'd say something cheerful just to, get people talking normally again.
To break the ice, that means to do or say something to make a social situation feel less stiff and awkward, right? Like when you make a joke at the start of a meeting so people relax. That's breaking the ice.
Exactly, and look, I think I did break the ice eventually. By Thursday, people were laughing about it.
They were laughing at you, Jake. There is a difference.
Now, at this point in the week, Sophie found herself in a rather peculiar social position. She was simultaneously the person everyone blamed, the person everyone pitied, and thanks to the pay discrepancy fallout, accidentally something of a folk hero to the 3 colleagues who received pay rises. It is, I think, one of the more complex social dynamics a person can find themselves in.
I didn't know how to handle it, honestly. Like, people would stop by my desk and I had to read the room every single time. Is this person angry? Is this person grateful? Are they just here for gossip? Reading the room is exhausting when the room has 40 different feelings about you.
Reading the room, that's a good one. Like picking up on the mood and social cues around you so you know how to act. Which, fair point, I should have done more of before I pressed reply all.
Reading the room is exactly the skill that would have prevented all of this, yes.
Friday came. The office had mostly returned to normal, or at least a new normal, which included slightly more pointed looks whenever Dave from accounts walked past. And Sophie and Jake had what she describes as a deeply overdue conversation in the break room.
I apologized properly, like a real apology, not just sorry if you were offended. An actual, genuine, I understand what I did and why it was a problem apology. I think that matters.
He did, and look, it's hard to stay furious at someone who is genuinely remorseful and also clearly just a bit oblivious rather than mean. He's not a bad person. He's just got absolutely no filter and no sense of social norms whatsoever.
Social norms, those are the kind of unwritten rules that everyone in a social group just understands, right? Like, you don't reply, all on a confidential HR email. Nobody wrote that rule down, but apparently everyone knows it.
Everyone except Jake.
Social norms are indeed the unspoken rules of behavior that hold a community or workplace together. They are never formally taught. You absorb them, you observe them, and every so often, someone like Jake comes along and just obliterates one at 9:15 on a Tuesday morning.
In my defense, American work culture is genuinely different. Like, oversharing is basically encouraged where I come from. My old boss used to send company-wide emails about his therapy sessions.
That is a cultural difference I was not prepared for.
And there it is, the cross-cultural dimension of social awkwardness. What feels like oversharing in one culture is perfectly normal in another. What counts as appropriate self-disclosure, sharing personal or private information, varies enormously. Self-disclosure, learners, is when you share something personal about yourself or others in conversation. Too much, too soon, and it makes people uncomfortable. Jake's self-disclosure on behalf of 43 colleagues' salary information could perhaps be described as too much.
A tad, yeah, possibly a tad too much self-disclosure.
There is also the concept of saving face, which I spent that entire week desperately trying to do. Saving face means trying to protect your dignity and reputation when something embarrassing has happened. Like when you trip over in public and immediately pretend you meant to do it. That's saving face.
How did you save face, though? Like, what did you actually do?
I sent a very calm, very professional email to the whole team clarifying that the original forward was a mistake made in good faith and that we should all refocus on our projects. Very formal, very composed. Took me 45 minutes to write 8 sentences.
It worked, apparently. Several colleagues later told Sophie it came across as extremely poised, which is, in the circumstances, a minor miracle.
See, I could never do that. I would have written something like, "Hey guys, awkward lol, let's move on," and made it worse.
You absolutely would have. Now the epilogue, because there is an epilogue. 6 weeks later, our company introduced a new pay transparency policy, officially, through proper channels, with HR involvement, because of all the complaints that came in that week.
I genuinely changed the company culture. I'm going to put that on my CV.
Do not put that on your CV.
And Dave from accounts, he now earns the same as his peers, progress, albeit achieved through the most chaotic possible route.
You're welcome, Dave.
I cannot believe this ended with him being the hero. I am still having nightmares about that walk across the office floor, and somehow he's the hero.
Such is the way of things. Now, before we wrap up, what is the lesson here? Is it always read an email before forwarding it? Is it understand reply all before using reply all? Or is it something deeper about how social norms, small talk, and the careful art of saving face hold an office together?
Honestly, I think it's all three. Also, maybe learn to read the room before you stand up and make an announcement to your entire open plan office.
The lesson is be more careful. Full stop. Just be more careful. That is it. That is the whole lesson.
And that is where we leave today's story. 43 inboxes lighter, 3 salaries heavier, and 1 Sophie, still slightly traumatized, but standing.
If that made you laugh or cringe or both at the same time, which honestly is the correct reaction, smash that like button. We really appreciate it.
And follow us so you never miss another story like this one. New ones dropping all the time, and they are dead good, I promise.
Subscribe to English Through Stories. We publish new episodes every single day, and every one comes with vocabulary, context, and the occasional career-ending mistake to learn from.
See you on the next one, and please, for the love of everything, double-check your reply all settings before you leave today. Drop us a like.
Hit follow and never miss a story.
Subscribe to English Through Stories. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. See you on the next episode.